This is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Keraba Avenue, and I am Ashma Uba. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. We speak to the Higher Education Minister about government's policy to address TVET education, which has mostly been concentrated in the Greater Banjul area. Following the torrential rains that left hundreds of Banjulians displaced due to heavy flooding, we've revisited Banjul to see the victims, including those forced to leave their homes. The Gambia's Minister of Tourism and Culture, Ahmad Nkeba, has told QTV that he is optimistic of a good tourist season, which is set to commence next month. In sports news, the Gambia Under-20 team are through to the semi-finals of the WAF Zone A tournament despite losing to Senegal in their final group game on Tuesday. Those were our main headlines. Now the news in detail. Now, for many years in the Gambia, the TVET sector has mostly been concentrated in the Greater Banjul area and been described as unsustainable, resulting in thousands of youths without jobs due to lack of or inadequate skills for the jobs that are in high demand. Mahmoud Lamin Choi has been speaking to the Higher Education Minister about government's policy to address this.
Technical and vocational education training, TVET, is critical to address unemployment and the development needs of a country. TVET training helps improve the productivity of industries, raises income levels for citizens and facilitates employment opportunities. TVET development in the Gambia is currently at a low level. Professor Pierre Gomez is the Higher Education Minister.
In the Gambia, we have a structural problem because we get loans, we get support here and there to build our infrastructure here and there in millions, and our main problem is the people who are doing the job are non-Gambian. So the money will be paid to them and they will take it to their countries, so the money is not staying.
For many developing countries like the Gambia, TVET has received government and private sector attention, warranting initiatives and policy interventions because of the socio-economic impact of inadequate TVET training.
President Barrow gave a directive that he has noticed that the youths are having challenges. There's a lot of rural-urban migration. There's also this international illegal migration, commonly known as the bagway. This bagway syndrome needs to be addressed. The state needs to come up with mechanism. And higher education has a role to play.
Official figures show approximately 75% of TVET centers in the country are in the Greater Banjul area, making access to TVET training difficult for rural dwellers. In response, the Gambia's 2020-2024 TVET training roadmap has an objective to expand training services to rural areas and modernize regional skill centers.
And that's why it's part of the policy that started with my predecessor, which I'm just implementing now, is in each region to come up with a TVET center. Yes. People, the state needs to find people where they are in their own backyards and give them quality education. As I'm talking to you, the Ndeman, the famous Ndeman Kanilai Institute, that we've been hearing for many years now, roughly the work is done.
As part of efforts to provide quality TVET training, the government, through a World Bank funded project, has planned to transform the Gambia Technical Training Institute, GTTI, into a University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology, USET. President Barrow laid the foundation stone for this project a month ago.
In Brikama, that's where USET, University of Applied Science and Technology, is going to be hands-on. This is the university that will produce, for the first time in the history of the Gambia, engineers in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electronic engineering, and so we've never done that in this country. It's going to be the first time, and there will be other. This is just the first phase. There will be other programs.
Transformation of our basic and secondary and higher education is taking a shift towards TVET for quality training, job opportunities, and to develop the productive base of our economy. time and results will judge the success of this national ambition. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
It has been over a month since torrential rains left many, including hundreds of Banjulians, displaced due to heavy flooding. We revisited Banjul to see what victims, including those forced to leave their homes, have made out of the damage caused by the rains. Ajibintu Drame has more.
Previously flooded streets are dried up and people have started going about their usual businesses, while schools, particularly the St. Joseph High School, used as a camp for flood victims, are getting ready to resume school. This year's flood is the worst flood Banjulians have ever experienced since 1948. Hundreds of people, including women, the elderly and children, have been displaced by the torrential rain, which flooded their houses and destroyed food items and clothing. At that time, flood victims were evacuated at the St. Joseph High School for safety. Now they have been relocated to the Friendship Hotel at the stadium in Bakau, where victims share that they would rather stay at the school than be abandoned. Sajo Conte, a victim, explains.
The NDMA has given us notice to return to our homes on the 24th of September. We were asked if we can stay with our relatives. I told them no, because we can't carry our problems to someone who has their own family. It will be a burden for them. All I am pleading for is for help. If we have breakfast, we don't have lunch. Just like today, we won't have lunch and there are children here. If there is no food, mothers buy millet for their children to eat, and the parents sit with an empty stomach.
Some victims have already gone back to their homes, which are not too badly damaged. However, these victims at the Friendship Hotel are still unsure of what will happen to them next. One of them, Babukar Diba, calls for help.
We came here to seek for help. If one is helping someone, let them help them for God's sake. You can't offer help and just abandon us. Staying at the school was even better than coming here and being abandoned.
Also calling for help is Isa Adawak, who needs medical assistance and care. As he can do anything for himself, he is supported and cared for by a student who must resume school soon.
We have to go back to where we were living. And in fact, me, if I look at my situation and people even see me here, so it's not easy, you see. So I cannot go there. When I go, who help me? I just go and then I just go and die there straight. Because if something happened to me there, who is going to help me? So the government should have exercised patience and then bring the needs to the people. You ask them what they want and what is good for them.
But all these victims are calling for a positive intervention to get back their lives. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
The Gambia's Minister of Tourism and Culture, Hamad Nkeba, has told QTV's Aliou Cisse in an exclusive interview on Wednesday that he is optimistic of a good tourist season set to commence in October, despite some of the difficulties stakeholders face. Here is an excerpt.
We are getting prepared. It is difficult, though. As you are aware that most of the stakeholders have not been doing very well during the last 2 years rather. It's not going to be easy for them. They need to refurbish their places, buy new equipment, fix it, and then of course the standard cannot be compromised. So it's not easy for them, and you are aware that the local banks, the interest rate again, is going up, and money has become a bit more expensive, and accessing money also not so easy for them. But they are trying their very best, and government also is trying to see what best we can do to support them access money that they can use to get prepared to improve on their facilities. And this ranges from hotels, restaurants, bars, casinos, nightclubs, taxi drivers, gaming, everywhere. Every part of it. So we're ground to operators, and all of them for that matter. So we have already taken certain measures, and we are working towards how best we can support and help them to have a good start. But so far, we're on it. If you tell me about my optimism, I would tell you I'm optimistic. The reach out we carried out the last 2 months, we visited most parts of it except the Nordics. We've not been to the Nordic country yet. And I'm sure you must have heard that they have cancelled their flights to the Gambia. But all other ones that we have visited, the situation remains positive. And we are optimistic that come October, the first flight would be here. Around October 14 roundabout, we'll receive the first flight from overseas as a package tourist to the Gambia. Although we're still having some tourists coming on board, the regular flights, they are coming to the Gambia. But for us to see a significant or a marked improvement in terms of numbers of arrival will start from the 14th of October. What we have done is, we have officials based overseas who are officials of the tourism board, which is of course mandated responsible for marketing tourism in the Gambia, and also the efforts that we have also done ourselves, and indeed the tourism board continuously developing marketing strategy to get into the market. And if you are aware, the market is very competitive. Everybody goes to the same market. So it depends on the amount of resources you have, and both in terms of material and also human. And I think we've not been doing bad. We have decided to, after our visit to Europe, we realized that it cannot be business as usual anymore. I mean, countries and institutions, organizations must market themselves because they all have marketing plans in their initial stage of existence before everybody present a marketing plan, and they need to invest in that. And also government need to, through the GT board, partner with tour operators in terms of marketing, where you will not be dictated all the time what you do, but you will also have an input and cost in terms of cost as to how you market your destination. Once you do that, then you have a say. But if you wait for somebody to do everything, comes to you, he just gives you what he wants, and then you don't have a choice. You take it or leave it. But this time we're changing the policy. We're having joint marketing with some of the tour operators and other, and we're also getting some specialists to help, in promoting the Gambia, destination Gambia at every level.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have more stories for you. Do stay tuned.
COVID-19 is real. Get vaccinated against COVID-19. The vaccine is safe and effective. The vaccine is readily available in any health facility, free of charge. Currently, there are 3 different types of vaccines, namely Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and Sinopharm. Hand washing with soap, when done correctly, is critical in the fight against COVID-19. Wash your hands frequently, including every time you enter the home or office. Avoid shaking hands with other people. After you cough or sneeze, and before you eat, use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand rub. Clean frequently touched surfaces, frequently with chlorine or alcohol solution. Remember, no one is safe until we are all safe. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and the Gambia Country Coordinating Mechanism with funding from the Global Fund to fight AIDS, TB, and malaria. For more information, please call our toll-free number 1025.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News. Now let's take a look at sports. The Gambia Under-20 team are through to the semi-finals of the WAF Zone, a tournament despite losing to Senegal in their final group game. They will play with the winners of Group A, Mali, on Sunday. Our sports reporter Mamadou Gajega has more.
Neighbours Senegal defeated the Gambia 1-0 after the young Scorpions conceded a penalty. After just 5 minutes of the game, the spot kick was converted, giving the Teranga Lions the lead. It proved to be the winner as the search for an equalizer never materialized for the Gambia. The win put Senegal firmly in control of the standings in Group B with 10 points after 3 wins and a draw. The Gambia finishing second on 7 points, equal with Guinea but with a better goal difference. Abdoulaye Bojang, coach of the Young Scorpions, was in place with the officiating. He got it off his chest at the post-match press conference.
Actually feel excited because it's the objective. We want to defend the title. Qualifying to the next stage would give us the chance to be able to defend it. As I said, I'm very much impressed with the performance of the boys. Definitely, they put up a respectable performance, coming from behind, playing good football, stick to the game plan, and I mean, we could have even won the game. Actually, based on the performance we've all seen the game, I think on the day, during the course of the 90 minutes, we were better than them. The last edition, we won them in the final, and you can saw it in the field that during the course of the 90 minutes, we dominated the game. You know, it's rather unfortunate the way we lose. Personally, for me, it's hard to take because to me it was just giving away a goal. Because I mean that wasn't actually the right penalty. You know, we find it very difficult. In our last game, I've said it here, it's hard to say. They said that we have to leave the referees, but sometimes if you're dissatisfied with the referee's decision, sometimes it's hard to take. Because our last game, we scored a very good goal and it was disallowed. Again, I mean, you can see Senegal was given a very good cheap penalty.
The Young Scorpions will now face Mali, who won Group A on 7 points. Their group consists of 4 teams, while Group B, featuring the Gambia, had 5 teams. Mali versus the Gambia will be the first of 2 semi-final matches on Sunday in Nouakchott. Senegal will face the host Mauritania in the second semi-final. The 2 finalists will qualify for the CAF Under-20 Championship to be played from 18th February to the 12th of March 2023 in Egypt. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
That's it for the news, but before we go, a recap of our main news headlines. We spoke to the Higher Education Minister about government's policy to address TVET education, which has mostly been concentrated in the Greater Banjul area. Following the torrential rains that left hundreds of Banjulians displaced due to the heavy flooding, we revisited Banjul to see the victims, including those forced to leave their homes. The Gambia's Minister of Tourism and Culture, Hamad Nkeba, has told QTV that he is optimistic of a good tourist season, which is set to commence in October. In sports news, the Gambia Under-20 team are through to the semi-finals of the Waffle Zone A tournament despite losing to Senegal in their final group game on Tuesday. That's all we have for this news edition. Join us at 10 p.m. for more news. Thanks for watching.